Olons is analyzing the situation based on the price tag, but I'm seeing it from a different perspective. Isak is a whole level above Ekitike. When it comes to quality strikers, you will not find Ekitike in the top 15 top strikers in Europe. So forget about the price tag. Probably Liverpool know that he might not live up to expectation. We've seen that before with Darwin Nunes. They bought him for about 70 or 80 million and he sat on the bench.
I'm
throughout
on
the whole season.
100. Hello, football fan. Welcome to the pitch side as we're about to kick off another episode of the show, your show, the Late Go podcast. Whether you're a diehard fan or you are just a lover of the fan or a lover of the game, we have you covered. My name is Samson, your host, and we have the usual suspects with me on the show today, Yinka and JD. Also, we have a debutant in our midst, David is a Chelsea fan. David, are you feeling like a champion?
The world champion.
Welcome, guys. Let's get the conversation started. I think it's been a while. We've not congratulated Chelsea since their Club World Cup win. David, what is the feeling like? Do you feel like the best team in the world?
We beat the best team in the sealed best team in the world. So we are kind of the best team in the world now, isn't it?
Kind of.
For the match,
Sir?
David, I'm with you. David,
before the
continue.
match, I was thinking how we going if we perform well against PSG, I would know that we are ready to perform in this year or next season. So they went overboard and they beat PSG to 2-4. So I mean I'm confident. I'm confident next season.
Yinka, do you share that confidence?
Well, I don't even know where to start. The only thing that I can say is it's actually looking up for Chelsea, because it would be hypocritical to say that we all expected them to win that Club World Cup. Especially with where their project was coming from. All of the players that they bought, people thought there was no direction. They were just buying everybody that they could find on the market. But they've shown that with the couple of trophies rather that they've won in the last few months, that there's actually a direction. I know JD disagrees with me because I read his piece recently about Chelsea, and he seems to think that this might just be some sort of mirage. But I think that, it's a step in the right direction. And considering how they've been moving in the market as well, I think it can only get better from here.
JD, were you disappointed with PSG?
No, I was rather impressed with Chelsea's performance. They put up a show. They did their homework. It was more like what PSG did to Inter in Champions League final. Nobody gave them a chance, but I actually gave them a very slight chance. All because I thought they are youthful side as well. They have the energy and the burst of pace. So it was very surprising the way they dispatched PSG. But then credit to them for everything that they did on the day. They are the deserved world champions. But as Olans rightly said, I still do not think they are a step in the right direction. I think all of this will still come back to boomerang on them. And when they start having restrictions and sanctions, their scores will become limited and maybe it might just come crashing down on them.
I'm sorry to cut in, Samson. Is that for those that know me on the show, I'm a very big advocate for rest and all of that. And I think that rest played a major role in Chelsea's success. If you actually look at it, out of all of the major European teams, Chelsea are actually one of the most rested teams in Europe this season, especially because they could field almost two separate 11s in the Conference League and the Premier League. So that allowed them rotate a lot compared to other teams that would most likely go into most of these competitions with similar teams or similar 11s. Chelsea had that luxury of, rotating a lot. And I think it was a very huge factor in the two teams that got to the final. PSG, for example, had wrapped up to Liga since maybe late March. So they also had that luxury of resting some of their key players and fielding a lot of their extras, so to speak. By the time they got to the Champions League final, they were way fresher than Inter. And then it translated to the Club World Cup as well. So rest also played a big factor. This is not to take away anything from Chelsea, but, rest, the two teams that were the most rested as far as I'm concerned, in the whole of Europe, got to the final of the Club World Cup. And
Chelsea
Chelsea,
even had the luxury
just
of
happened to be
fielding
the,
some
the
17 year olds here and there.
most tactically drilled team for that final, because I think Maresca did a very good job in that final.
Very, very good job.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
Kudos to
you
Maresca.
guys giving Maresca the good.
It
Kudos to
was
Maresca.
Maresca, because quality for quality, I don't think Chelsea matches PSG. But it was
But
a
the
tactical.
match,
I was seeing combined 11 and no Chelsea player made the combined
Of
11.
course,
Laughing.
Of course.
Even Palmer
What is
four
the Chelsea
people.
player doing there?
in a 4-3-3, Palmer does not make that 11. In a 4-2-3-1, maybe, but in
yeah.
a 4-3-3, Palmer does not make it.
Are you
Palmer is
guys
more
being
convenient as a
serious?
second striker.
Palmer
Anyways,
is not a
But I
central
think
midfielder. He's more of
he's
a
more of a
CAM,
second
central
striker.
attacking midfielder, or play on the wing. On the wing, I don't see Palmer, displacing a Desiree Doué. I don't see
Dembele.
him
Or Dembele.
displacing Kvaratskhelia,
You are
and he cannot
limiting his
displace Dembele.
potential
So the
with
only place he can
Palmer is
fight for a
more
spot is in
central.
midfield.
How are you guys even comparing Zaidue with Palmer? Palmer is miles ahead of Palmer is like is being compared. Okay, are you trying to say you're not going to take Lamine Yamal over Zaidue? Because that's who people are comparing Palmer to these days.
Just
This
because
season,
Or people are
Chelsea fans are comparing Palmer to Yamal does not mean that they are in the same category now.
That's
I mean,
actually
moving
true.
they're
on,
all
moving
going
on,
to
guys.
business.
Moving on, guys. Congratulations to Chelsea. Moving on.
Right.
A lot has happened in the transfer market, and Liverpool have been spending. They have a new owner from Saudi Arabia.
Like someone offended them.
Okay, I think
They are out to
I'm
defend their
employing.
title. I said it on
I'm
one of the
employing.
episodes that Liverpool must probably defend the title.
Oh,
Really,
you still.
still to
They
it.
still they have a lot of new players that might need time to gel.
They are
But
doing
then,
everything right in the transfer market,
But transfer market
yes,
does not always translate to success now.
but they
of
have
course,
something to build on.
they have something to
Yeah.
build on. And my
I
concern
think
is
Manu
that
spent a lot in the transfer window last season, and
my concern
we
is
saw how
that
it ended. So
Liverpool are they doing too much? They've confirmed the signing of Ekitike, if I get that correctly. And now we are hearing that they are in pursuit of Alexander Isak after spending almost £300 million already. Yinka, what is happening at the Mercy side?
To be honest, I think it's fantastic to see them spending again. I can only say that from a tactical point of view, especially when you consider their interest in Isak, I'm not quite sure what the plan is. I know Isak was first choice before they went for Hugo Ekitike, whichever way. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrongly. Isak was
Correct,
first
that's
choice.
correct.
But after they lost that, after it seemed like they were not going to, get Isak, they then went for, their second choice, which is the right thing that normal big teams should do. You should have plan B, possibly a plan C and plan D. So Hugo Ekitike was the plan C. Now, plan B rather. Now, it looks like Isak might actually be available, and we're hearing that once they're able to flip Díaz, they might actually go for Isak now, which begs the question, what's the plan? So are they planning to play Ekitike on the left? He's not a left winger. He's not particularly a replacement for Diaz. Isak cannot play on the left wing. He's and it's not trying to play 4-4-2 next season or a two-man, a formation that requires two strikers, so to speak. So what exactly is the plan? Because I don't think they would spend 90 million, or how much is it that they spent on
95.
Ekitike again for a player
About
that would sit on
95.
the bench. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm curious to see if they're able to pull the sack deal through. And
That
if
way
they
the next start
do,
on
I
the
want
bench
to know
actually.
what the plan is.
But Yinka, there's nothing wrong in having two good strikers. I mean, Pep had Haaland and Julian Alvarez for a while. Now he has Haaland and Mamouche. If Luis Diaz goes to Bayern, there's Gakpo on the left. Personally, I don't see anything wrong in having Isak and
Of course, of course.
Ekitike.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having two quality strikers. I think the concern comes out of the fact that they spent 95 million on this player. And at the time that he was signed, he was supposed to be their main striker. People assumed that he was signed as plan B to Isak. So he was supposed to be their main striker. So now that they want to get Isak, what is the plan? Is Ekitike no longer the main striker? Because obviously, only a blind man would say that at this point in time, Ekitike is better than Isak. Isak is miles ahead of Ekitike. Isak knows the Premier League already. Isak is, more mature, is better technically. And I'm not saying that Ekitike is not a good striker as well, but what
He's an
is the
average
plan?
striker.
If you're bringing Isak in after signing Ekitike as your main striker, what is the plan? And I know you mentioned Haaland and Alvarez. With all due respect, both of them are not particularly on the same level, at least at the time that they were signed. Profile-wise, Haaland had a bigger profile. Alvarez was more of an upcoming striker, so to speak. I know he did
So
come
is
to City.
Ekitike.
Yeah, Ekitike is an upcoming striker, but he was signed for 95 million, and he was signed to be their main striker.
No, you cannot say that he was signed to be their main striker. Which brings me to my next line of discussion. 16 years ago, 95 million got you prime Cristiano Ronaldo. Today, you are spending 95 million to get Ekitike, a player that had 23 goals involvement in the Bundesliga last season. Has football falling off? What is happening? JG.
I think the market is inflated, and we just have to go with trend. Like Olon said, I think
All
there's a
of us
mix
will
of
not survive.
I think there's a mix of Olons is analyzing the situation based on the price tag, but I'm seeing it from a different perspective. Isak is a whole level above Ekitike. When it comes to quality strikers, you will not find Ekitike in the top 15 top strikers in Europe. So forget about the price tag. Probably Liverpool know that he might not live up to expectation. We've seen that before with Darwin Nunes. They bought him for about 70 or 80 million and he sat on the bench
I'm
throughout
on
the whole season.
100.
So what does
100
that say
million right
about
now.
their scouting team? If you're spending
So
95
I think
million on a player that you don't necessarily believe in.
that's why
Statement.
there's a question
Statement.
I have for Olons. I have a question for Olons. I want you to enlighten us on the financial situation of Premier League clubs. You are in-house financial experts. Is there anything they are
I'm
doing
not the financial expert. Though.
You said?
I didn't
No.
get the last part statement.
I mean, you are in-house financial experts. This Premier League club, they splash like it's nothing. Whereas in other leagues,
No,
we find it
obviously,
very, very
Premier League
difficult.
is way above everybody else financially
So,
now.
I,
Commercially, they are more viable in Europe. So it's only normal that they would spend, than other leagues. I
and
was
that's why they
watching
have money.
more misses than they have. Well, when you have money, it's when you have too much money. Sometimes your hands get too itchy, and it's always a matter of okay, I need to spend this thing, I need to spend it, I need to spend it. But we also have to consider the fact that over the last few years, Liverpool have not particularly been big spenders. And I know that you would point to Virgil van Dijk, Darwin Nunes, and the
That's a
likes.
long time ago.
But
I
if you
disagree.
look at those deals,
I
in most
totally disagree.
cases, no, hold
Totally
on, hold on.
disagree.
Let me land. Let me land
Hold
first.
on, let him
If you
finish
look at
now.
those deals, Liverpool often sold to buy players, or at the very
Yes.
most, they are going to make one big signing per summer. But this summer, they are going off script. I can't remember them selling anymore. They've lost strength, but that was for free. So they haven't really gained any money for that.
Answer.
They said Kwanzaa. They sold Kwanzaa for about 35.
40 million. If they've sold Konsa for 40 million or thereabout, and they're bringing
Yeah.
in a Kitike for 95 million, Frimpong
They
for
sold their
about
goalkeeper as
25
well.
million.
They sold Kelea for about 25 or 30 million.
I'm talking about the kind of sale that they did with Coutinho. Coutinho was about 130 million or thereabout, and they invested it in
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and the likes. Those were big. No,
Virgil
they
van
were
Dijk.
Allison, I think, if I remember correctly. Those were big
Okay,
signings at the
guys,
time.
let's leave price tag aside. He has a 94 million got you Ronaldo years ago, and he's getting Ekitike now. Um, Leaving stats aside, I mean, apart from the fact that okay, the market is inflated. I mean, I feel like we are exaggerating the stats of these players because we know that Slot is not getting Ekitike to get him 200 goals or, I mean, we've all seen Ekitike link up play. We've seen him doing those dribbles and all, connecting the attack. So I still feel like Slot has a plan. I mean, we always like What is
That's
a
an expensive
distraction?
plan. Oh. That plan is
If
very
the
expensive.
if the aim is to get a 95 million pound player or euro player to come and
That's
do
a
impact,
very
you
expensive
can easily
plan.
get that for 25 million.
I
If you
I
look around Europe,
I'm not expecting anything much from Ekitike. I ain't expecting
Yeah, actually, I'm not really expecting
just
big
a goal
goals
here
from
and there,
him.
and
Like,
then
but
that's it.
I'm meant to
that
score
goal,
40. If I spend
That's just
90,
it.
if Inter makes the mistake of spending 95 million on the player right now, if that player does not deliver 50 goals one season,
I mean, that's why
Okay,
we're
okay,
expecting.
guys. Okay, guys,
That's why we're
guys,
expecting
guys.
players to.
Okay, guys. Isak now. Enough of Liverpool. Isak is throwing subtle tantrum with Newcastle. He's asking for 300k reportedly, or he's asking to leave. But then the window of opportunity is closing. Clubs that need that needs a striker and that can afford him are very limited. Do you see any other club?
I have an
You mean
unpopular
Isak?
opinion.
Man U still needs a
Let's
striker.
have it.
I mean, Man U still has the money to pay. I feel like Man U could make an attempt for him, but I don't honestly see him going
My
to Man
people can
U
actually do
because
something. My people in Saudi Arabia can do something.
I have an
We are good
unpopular opinion.
spenders.
You don't
And that
You
unpopular
think so?
opinion, I've held it since last season. If anybody remember, I said it on this show. Now, unpopular opinion is Real Madrid. I am of the
yeah,
opinion that
yeah,
if
they will
this
sell
When does
Rodrygo.
it fit
Vinicius
in a Real Madrid?
situation, because I know that there's a Vinicius situation at Real Madrid as well, with regards
They
to
are
I
coming for
doubt
contract
Madrid will
and
go
the
for Isak.
likes. If
I
this
really, really
Vinicius
doubt.
situation does not go well, and Real Madrid, it does look like Vinicius cares about the money more than the actual playing time right now.
It's
And Real
Brazilian now.
Madrid are able to flip Vinicius, possibly to Saudi or wherever. It means that they get to keep Rodrygo on the right. Mbappe gets to play on the left that he prefers, which leaves space for a top nine. In that top nine position, I think Isak fits in perfectly, if you ask me.
perfectly, yeah.
If you ask, well, that's just a
Yeah,
theory.
that was actually the line of thought I was having. I mean,
At Real Madrid,
That's the shadow.
but Vinicius said he wants to do it 10
maybe
times.
if they
So
sell
I don't
Vinicius,
see him
maybe
going
if
to a
Vini
Saudi
leaves
club.
Madrid, if
Yes, now,
Vini stays
That's
at
what
but they have a Vinicius situation at the moment. It looks
that's
like
what
they're having
triggers.
contract talks and the like. So
those
there's
days,
chance
I
that
don't see
Vinicius might
Isak
leave.
joining Real. I don't see Isak at Real
Well,
Madrid even
it's
if
just a theory, obviously. Now we are not saying it will
Why?
happen, but
Is
it's
it
a
a
theory.
backup? It didn't come from Barcelona now.
it becomes a real
Why can't he join
possibility if
Real
Vini
Madrid?
leaves Madrid. If Madrid today, the
Anyways,
next person they will be looking at is Isak, undoubtedly.
of course, that's what you guys
But
explaining.
well,
Anyways,
we all know like
moving on, moving
key
on.
player.
We are happy to announce that the Osimhen saga successfully.
Hallelujah.
Praise God. Thank God.
Hallelujah. We have to
Galatasaray
thank
were
God.
able,
After several weeks.
Galatasaray were able to unlock the Napoli situation thanks to our team of influencers from Nigeria, from Turkey, from it was a
from
very big
Uganda,
operation.
from
We
Tanzania.
thank for Osimhen. Osimhen, we're happy for you, and that chapter has been closed. Although the contract came with a lot of funny clauses, anti-Italian clause, bribe clause, but then we're happy that chapter has closed. Osimhen is now a Galatasaray player,
Anyone
which
hear Samson?
are in
No,
for
no. I
Luis
think we lost.
Diaz.
He's back.
Okay, I
Can
think
you
it's
hear me?
back now.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
We can hear
Okay.
you.
Bayern Munich are in for Luis Diaz, and I don't understand what is happening there. Luis Diaz is 27 or 28, and they are willing to pay 70 million euros for him. Is it desperation? Is it? I don't understand. Bayern has lost. They seem to have lost their way these days. Can you shed your opinion on that for us?
There was a time they used to Bayern Munich and their transfer negotiations where
Sean,
would never hear any rumors about their transfer deals, and then within 2 days you just hear Bayern are interested in so player. 3 days later, the deal is done, and then the guy has landed in Munich. But there's just a lot of drama. There's a lot of run out negotiations, and even the players that they are interested in these days. I mean, they went for Hurricane, who was over 30, and I'm not saying Hurricane is a bad player, but it was not particularly the kind of deal that you would see Bayern making in the past. He was over 30 and they paid a lot of money for him as well. They,
100.
they they were in this, drawn out negotiation with Tottenham. They're doing the same thing with Liverpool now. And it just makes you think what's going on at Bayern. I know they won the league last season, but structurally in management rather, it looks like something is loose. It looks like something going on in that end that we do not particularly know of. I do they're able to get Díaz, especially because they will be missing Musiala for possibly the rest of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So they would need a bit of
Yeah.
flair, a bit of creativity in attack. But at
I think
27,
Thomas Muller
you
is
know
leaving.
that Diaz does not have a resale value anymore. For 70 million, I mean, I think you can get players that will give you what Diaz gives you for way less than that, say 40, 35 million. So I don't know why it has to be
No, they can
Diaz, maybe
even
because
add
of the
they can
profile.
add 30 million and come and take Liao, you know?
They
I
considered
mean, so
They considered Liao
yeah,
at
I
some
think they
point
were
in the
interested in
transfer.
Liao at the time too. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, market that has the has for that amount isn't so much bad.
The problem is
So
Madueke should not be leaving for
This Chelsea man is used to spending and spending. Nothing is bad with
But
David.
I think
If you like, if you like,
Diaz, save for his age, he will
tactically,
be a factor
he does
in
seem
this
like a good
tactically.
fit. Don't see it. I just
But
do
now
not see it.
Bayern are not
I
going
can't
to.
remember.
They are not considering resale value now. The team is in shambles. They are falling off
Well,
like pack of cards, and they need to get their rest back. They need to become in Europe. They are losing credibility. So I think they need immediate action. They need immediate help. They need somebody that can
with
address
credibility,
this
they were in Champions League quarter final now.
quarterfinals. Is that Bayern's level? That's not their level.
Are they a Champions
is it
League
their
household name?
birthright?
It's not their best right, but winning it 6 times means that
They are not a Champions League household name now.
they are a household name, so they
So
shouldn't be ending in the
which
quarterfinals.
shambles?
I think
Anyway,
Wani is doing a
David,
job. They are struggling.
Xavi Simons to Chelsea. What are you people cooking?
World champions.
Xavi Simons to Chelsea. What are you
Maresca
cooking?
has something for us.
You people are spending money
Maresca
and
has
not saying
something for us.
Maresca.
Honestly,
I,
all
I
needs to
don't
explain to
I don't
Chelsea
really
fans
know
that
what I don't really know
a
what
tournament is
Maresca is
different from
cooking.
a league.
No, they know.
They don't know.
No, they should know.
Okay,
They've
see,
not won the league in how many
I
years?
feel
They
like
should
I
know.
understand.
When
I feel
was the
like I
last time they won the
understand
league?
the plan. I feel like I understand the plan with Xavi
That was under
Simons.
Conte.
Okay.
Simons is going to be playing centrally.
Yeah, David, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
Yes.
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Yeah, I feel like I understand the plan with Simons. Simons is going to be playing centrally, and Palmer will be to the right wing. With
Hmm?
probably an overlapping
Farmers,
fullback. We saw how Maresca used an overlapping fullback in the
you
beginning
want to move your
Palmer is
best
not
player.
going to right wing.
yeah.
Forget that one. Get that
No,
one.
because Palmer.
You are moving your
I think the
best player
reason
from
the
the
reason they
best
are
No, no,
throwing
no.
this
You guys don't
Palmer
understand
right
it.
wing theory is because of that Club World Cup final performance. Forgetting that 38
But I
games is a
think
long
Aside
stretch. Yeah, he
the
was on the
final
right in that game.
match, right? Aside that match, you guys have forgotten that Palmer was playing the right wing in Pochettino era. So he was good in with. He's not a player that holds with. Say you're going to restrict him to touchline. No, he's not a touchline winger. He's someone that if he's on the right, he drops into the midfield to create. So that's why you should have an overlapping fullback who's going to be making those runs and holding
Artica.
that wings. So you know,
tactical.
that's where Xavi Simons comes in.
Tactica. Anyways, personally, I think Xavi Simons is a deputy to Palmer.
It will be a
That's just the way
luxury
I
night.
see it. But if you are confident to the right for a 38 games week, I'm not sure you will get the best out of Palmer on the right. But
Well,
then, like you
No,
said,
if we're being honest,
I
if
don't
if
really
I
think
remember
Palmer
very
was
well, when
going to the
Palmer
right
was
wing for
when Palmer was at City, I think he
he
mean
was
for
on the right wing.
Mahrez most of the time,
Yeah.
and he on the right wing. And like David said as well, under Pochettino, he played on the right wing as well. But I also think that playing
How
on the right
effective
wing
was
does
he?
not only require flair and technical ability. You need a lot of work rate as well, especially if you are playing with an overlapping fullback. The right winger needs to be able to track back as well and cover ground. I'm not particularly sure if Palmer is that guy. I'm not sure Palmer can do that consistently for 38 games. In special games, one-off games, you can always deploy him on that wing and you'd expect him to do well. on paper, it looks beautiful. Having Palmer on the right, Xavi Simons in the middle, and maybe Pedro Neto or whoever is going to play on the left, or on the left. It looks beautiful, especially in Football Manager.
James.
But
So,
when it
Gittins,
becomes practical, then I feel like there could be a problem, especially because of the work rate
Okay.
involved.
That is the thing with signing so much young players that are really good. Maesca has a lot to choose from.
Of
This
course, now
game,
you guys
what
bought
he
like
plays in this
700
game,
players.
what he uses in
they
this
give
game is not what he's going to use in this other game. So see Palmer playing centrally in one game, and another game you see him playing in the right wing. So it's not about his tactics. You can even see him deployed in the right wing, and he'll be dropping into half spaces. Dropping
You are free
left
to
wing,
analyze. You are the
left
world
half,
champion.
left
You
half
are free to
forward. So
analyze. See, it dawns on you guys.
of course,
Analyze,
Have
analyze.
we have we lost Samson
let
again?
let, let me let
I
me
think so.
Continue,
yeah, I think
David.
we've lost statement now. I mean, I know it's of a stretch, but I think we are going to. In fact, let me know even. I think we are going to win the league next season.
Which
Let me not say
Evo.
we are going to be contenders. Now,
which league?
we are
Come
going to
again,
win the.
please. Which of the youth league? FA youth league.
We are we are going to win
It's
the
not just
European
Saturday.
Premier League, sir. I
Well,
mean, the English Premier
it's
League.
football. Anything
We
is
are going to win
possible.
the
Anything
English
is
Premier League.
possible. But while we wait for Samson,
Yeah, anything
let's
is
move on.
possible. And you guys need to forget that's the reason why we have much young players that are really good. So it's for us to have
They are,
flexibility in
they
our
are not
start
really good.
times.
You don't have young players that
So I
are
really
really
think we're
good.
going to compete and to go for the trophy.
can you hear me?
Yes,
We
we
can
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
Samson.
Okay. To the big
Yeah,
to
we
the
can hear
big
you, sir.
elephant in the whole transfer window. That is our darling English club Arsenal. Arsenal
And
has signing of Gyökeres.
I think
Fortunately,
that's another move that we need to thank God for, just like Osimhen.
Ahmed is not here to mock us.
as his father
But
has
on
not
his
signed.
behalf, Ahmed, we can see the doings of Arsenal. Arsenal has signed Gyökeres, they've signed Mosquera, they've signed
Norgard.
Madueke,
No God.
they've signed
Madueke.
Nogard from Brentford. Personally, I still feel it's not enough. I don't know why, but I still feel it's not enough.
Is anything ever enough for
You know
Arsenal?
why you think
You
it's not
should.
enough?
Is anything ever
The
Why?
enough
reason
for
you
Why?
Arsenal?
think it's not enough is because the teams that Arsenal are supposedly chasing have strengthened way more than Arsenal have.
It's funny actually. It's funny.
So
It's
because
just like
there was this
Some
big
months
gap
ago,
between them and Liverpool last season, and
yes,
we all expected Arsenal would try to close that gap. But it's almost like Liverpool said, you know that last season's kids where say poverty sat me down. It's almost like Liverpool sat Arsenal and said, I will kill you.
and
because
it's
a,
true.
a month ago, a month ago, we were so sure that with the signing of Gyökeres, Arsenal was closer. But now
It's becoming a
it's
paradox.
looking like Arsenal is the third best team in the league.
But
And
I really feel like Arsenal are a balanced team. I mean, you is a top one. Their defense is really good. Their midfield is one of the best in the league. It's just that attack. Aside Bukayo Saka in the right wing, the other two positions we are not. In fact, they are not really. They are shaking. So they need some kind of goal threat from those two positions, and that's where Gyökeres comes.
okay,
But for the left wing,
yes,
I don't know what the plan is for. Maybe
There's
someone said that
Martinelli.
Madueke was
There's
signed so
Martinelli on
that he
the
will
left.
become the Sterling. The way
Martinelli does not score enough.
someone was telling me that Arteta signed Madueke. So the way Pep used Sterling in City to be scoring goals, or Sunny in City to be scoring goals from the left. That's the way Arteta plans to use Madueke.
It's just to get Madueke.
And let's hope that.
What's your analysis?
his eyes dey clean.
You're thinking,
Arteta has said, Arteta has said that going into this season, there are 8 teams competing for the league or a man under pressure. I don't
Did
see
he
eight
list the
teams.
teams?
He didn't list them, but he said there are 8 teams that can possibly win the league.
Okay, let's just do quick brainstorming. which teams in particular
Yeah.
would he be referring to? Say
Definitely top four
Liverpool,
from
say
last
City.
season.
Let's give Chelsea a chance because top four last season. Say
Yes.
Chelsea. Who else? Are you going to
And
count
we are
Aston
world
Villa
Aston
champions.
Villa,
or
world
Newcastle?
champion. Everton,
Nottingham Forest.
I think
Nottingham
that was
Forest.
one of the most
Newcastle,
stupid
yeah,
statements that a
Newcastle.
coach could
You
make
have to count Newcastle.
as title
I think
contenders.
I think he's under pressure. I think the pressure is getting to him,
He's confused.
and he's under pressure. He's probably confused, and I don't think there's nothing Arsenal can sign this summer that can equate what Liverpool is doing. This
Well,
summer,
Liverpool is yet
Liverpool,
to sign Isak, so there's still the gap can still be covered. But if they sign Isak,
then
then
there's problem. There's
serious
problem.
Liverpool do
problem.
not even need a goal
Anyways,
scorer. They have Mohamed Salah. That's some 30 goals in
they
the
read
league.
on him too much last season,
They
and I'm not
didn't.
sure they want to do that again this season.
Yeah, that was what I was saying. They have
They
Mohamed
relied
Salah.
on him
That
too
was
much
that was why I
that
was
it
talking
affected
about
them in the Champions
Ekitike
League.
as
They played so well.
we know Frimpong from Leverkusen, classic right back, the normal right back that sits back. He's someone that even in Netherlands they use him as a winger. So we expect that he's going to be bombing up the pitch very often, which makes Salah drop into the box. So Ekitike now could be linking play with there. Honestly, I don't think
No,
Ekitike is
I don't have a
somebody that will
problem with your
definitely put
theory.
in the
I do
box.
not have a problem with your theory. The only problem with is that all of these things that you've just listed, you can get a player that can do everything for you for 35 to 40
Or
million.
less. Yes, exactly.
35 to you don't necessarily need to spend
I
95
mean,
million for that.
it's not easy to scout those players.
You
It's
think that?
To
I
scout
do
those
not mean this
players
as an
now.
insult. I think it's because you guys do not watch more than the Premier League. If you watch other leagues, you will find players that will do. I mean, if you go to, I'm trying to think of a player now. If you go to Serie A, you will find it that can do that. For example,
Very well.
it's not that difficult to link up play. Link up
Yeah,
But
play. I mean,
Victor Boniface does
Marcus
you
that.
know
Thuram would
that
not even cost 75 million. For 60 million, Inter would probably sell Marcus Thuram links of play properly without
Have you
stress.
seen?
you guys know that adapting in the Premier League is different from other
What's
leagues.
the
You know,
Premier League
Premier League
about?
is it's quite physical and
How are you certain that Ekitike
it's
will
quite physical.
adapt?
I don't know whether he will adapt,
Somebody that
but
couldn't adapt
what
at
I do know
PSG.
is, I mean, he was not giving, so be honest, he wasn't giving much play time at PSG. So
He
uh,
didn't earn it. If he had
he was
worked
giving
for
play
the
time
playing time,
in.
he would have gotten more time. He didn't earn it. He needed to earn his place.
I mean, who were his competitors? Will he bench Mbappe or will he bench which other competitors they have?
So who do
He
you
couldn't
think he
bench
will
any of
bench
them.
at
It wasn't
Liverpool?
possible. So it was only fair that
Well,
the striker
he
position is
would
there
bench
for
Darwin
him.
Nunes at Liverpool.
The transfer window is not closed.
That Nunes
Liverpool
is even
definitely get
leaving.
another striker.
Nunes is leaving.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Yeah, we can hear
Darwin
you.
Nunes to Inter. Who says no?
Inter Lagos.
we don't need him. Once we're able to get Lookman,
Inter
we're good in
Lagos.
attack.
It will come to
Eh?
Inter Lagos.
See, proud man.
No, it's true now. The only reason you would consider someone like that is if we don't have pointsmen, but we have a pointsman now, so we don't need a player like Nunes. I think he'll do well in Serie A anyway, but in the Premier League is not for him.
Napoli
And
are
yes,
interested.
you were talking about
I don't know. I don't know how much
yeah.
of an interest they
No,
have.
they can't get him anymore. They've bought Lorenzo Luca. Done.
They are spending money too now. They are the sheikh of Italy.
They don't have money. They're just pretending to have money. People that can't pay for 5 million for Ndoi.
I think that deal has
They
fallen
spent
through.
a
That deal has. Anyways, I want us to talk about the Madrid situation. And last week in the media, there was a lot of backlash for Mbappe. A lot of people blames Mbappe for the imbalance in the team last season. Some people blame Mbappe for Vinicius' performance. How funny I find that. But Xabi Alonso has a lot of job to do. The team is still somehow somewhat imbalanced. There are players that demand for starting shares. There are senior players. Their egos are clashing. Inka, what do you think? If you are Xabi Alonso, what's the way out for you?
The only way out is to find a way to get those players to how do I put it now?
Work together.
Be humble. To be humble. Anyone that knows me knows that I've been saying it since last season. If you my analysis of El Clasico, all of the El Clasico that that they played last season, I've always mentioned that there were too much of big men in this Real Madrid team. And because of that alone, because of that single factor, I always felt like Barca were going to beat them last season, anywhere they played. And the reason I said that is because Barca of last season were in that tiki-taka group. That's where they like to move the ball around, just ping it around. And to be able to beat that system, you need a team that works really hard, that's ready to chase the ball, or that's really compact in defense. I do not think that for all of the qualities that Real Madrid have, those two qualities are particularly the qualities that they lack the most. Players that can, sit back and
Sacrifice.
suffer, and sacrifice. Players that can sit back and suffer while the
But,
opponent does a bit of
but that
playing.
has always been
Players that
Real
can
Madrid.
chase the ball as well. They do not have that. So I've always thought that because they have, because of the profile of the players that they got, it was always going to be a problem. Now it looks like there are rumors filtering out that it's affecting them in the dressing room as well, or there could be sort of tussle in terms of their ego as well. I don't know how true that is. What I do know for a fact is that Mbappe is not the problem of this team. Mbappe, there might be some sort of tactical issue here and there
Yeah,
because
I
of how
agree with you.
Mbappe likes to play. But personally, I think that's lazy analysis. You can always find a way to to play Mbappe and Vinicius together if you're a good coach. I mean, Teddy Sheringham and Dwight York played together, despite the fact that their styles were similar under Alex Ferguson, and there was no problem. So you can always do that. I think particularly that Vinicius lost form last season. Vinicius was not up to par, and it was easy to point fingers at Mbappe because Mbappe had just joined the team. Also because Mbappe's style of play involves drifting to the left, at least before he joined Real Madrid. But after he joined Real Madrid, I think he changed his style a lot.
He had
He
to.
played more to the center. But it's weak analysis, it's lazy analysis to say, oh, Mbappe is always drifting to the left. If you watch Real Madrid games, Mbappe actually adapted way more than Vinicius, as far as I'm concerned, though. So I do not think that Mbappe is the problem. I also think that Xabi Alonso needs to find a way to get some of the big men in that. They need someone like Sergio Ramos, for example. Some of the leaders in that team to say, guys, we are
Do they have any
Galacticos for
leaders
crying
now?
out loud.
They
We
don't
to
know.
play for Real Madrid. Who are the leaders in that team? Exactly. They do not have
Ceballos
players like
is Ceballos
Marcelo.
is
They do
still
not
a
have
senior
players
team.
like Sergio Ramos anymore. Exactly.
Rudiger is
Modric is
Rudiger
gone.
should
There's Cavaja.
Oh,
Cavaja is still
Rudiger.
there.
Nah, nah, not that kind of.
Oh, they still have Cavaja.
Cavaja
I
is
don't know
still
if they
there.
have Vasquez
yeah.
as well. But even if you
Vasquez
want to
has
compare
left.
leaders, this they are mentioning, Cavaja, Rudiger, they are not in the mode of Sergio Ramos,
For
for
sure.
example.
Of course.
They are not in the mode of Luka Modric. I've seen clips where Luka Modric was telling his teammate, I think it was his coach, to shut up or something. Or maybe it was Sergio Ramos that was telling him to shut up because he was talking too much on the pitch. You need players like that, players that command fear, that will tell players like Adagula that you need to press. You are playing for Real Madrid. You need this, you need to do that. But I think they lack that. And because they lack that, Xabi Alonso might suffer for it.
Wow.
Yeah,
This is a tough one for Alonso.
I don't think the egos are. I don't think the egos are the problems, or okay, the egos are there, but something is also on the pitch. I mean, we saw with that 4-0 loss to PSG, we saw how it was so easy to break through their press because they were not actually pressing. Mbappe and Vinicius, the two frontmen, they were not pressing. I saw
No, well, it's the same thing I'm saying now.
the
They,
dribbled past.
they were feeling the.
The
Yeah,
fact
the
is,
dribbled past.
the fact is that
It's even about
Continue.
whether you like it or not, Real Madrid is a club of unclashing egos from time memorial. It's been like that. So it is left for you as the coach of the pack to find a working system, to find a way around it, and discover what works for you. You would not tell us that Real Madrid should stop gathering Galacticos. It has always been like that for them, and it has always worked for them. So I think Alonso have a lot of things to do. He has got a lot to do in his hands. He has to gather everybody together, get them working together as a team, and sacrifice for themselves, as Olans rightly said. Without that, I think he just might not survive this season.
I actually want David to finish because I want to understand where David is coming from. I want him to finish that his line of
Okay.
thought.
Yeah, we saw with that 4-0 loss, we saw how they were not really pressing. And you see that Xabi Alonso's style of football, he wants his attackers to be pressing from the front. He wants to jump back the team so much that his attackers will win balls and they press you till you lose composure and all of that. So if the front line is right there the way it was, you see that his style just does not make sense because
Why do
he
you
will
think
just
they're not
run to
pressing?
you and your defenders will have no help. So we saw the clip.
The only,
Well, as far as the Club World Cup is
and that's
concerned,
why
in
that's
my
why I
own
said he has
opinion,
to get
I
Igos
think that
back
apart
into
from
it.
the egos and the likes, another reason they did not particularly do well in Club World Cup would be because of Xabi Alonso. I think that he was the guy had just finished the season with Liverpool. He joined Real Madrid just before the Club World Cup. And I think that it was too early to just impose all of your style or all of your ideas on the team immediately, especially going into a tournament. It was not like he had preseason or he had time to work with them. I think he should have still maintained a bit of some of the things that he worked with to try to understand how the players play. But he just came in. I think he used like 3 or 4 different formations. So
Swapping players.
he changed, a lot of things. That was one of the reasons. Then you can also add the ego. The players are
To
not
be
used to
fair,
pressing. They are not used to running around.
Anyways,
to be fair, they
Alonso
changed
all the
the
best.
things.
So
They
to
actually
buttress
worked on
Orlon's
him.
points, people
So
that pointed at Mbappe as the problem. Mbappe missed a bunch of their games at the Club World Cup. What did Vini do?
Yeah, I think
He
so.
still
He missed.
was
I think it was
invisible.
like two
He
games
still
to,
wasn't
to go that he
participating.
came back there.
we
Yes,
hope
yes. So the
Alonso
people that
we
pointed
hope
fingers at
Alonso is not
Mbappe,
sacrificed eventually because at Madrid, Florentino Perez will ask the manager before he asks the players. At least
Like Roman Abramovich.
in almost every club, they believe in what they buy and they don't care who you are as manager. You must make it work. It's been an interesting show. A big kudos to my panelists. We've done justice to a lot of topics. We should be coming your way soon again for more discussions, player on player analysis. We'll also be discussing about the women AFCON that is ongoing and be comparing it to the European women European Euros too. You guys laughing. When we get there, we'll have a lot to discuss on that. But for now, I say thank you and God bless.
all right,
You
thank
gotta
you.
be there at night. Oh.